Welcome back, y'all, to another episode of Spittin' Hoops Trade Deadline Special. One of the most exciting parts of the NBA season. We're here to break it down for you. It's been a tepid, a lukewarm day, but I'm still excited. What about you, Anthony?
Yeah, man, a lot of trades, a lot of good wins for some teams, a lot of question marks for some teams, a lot of names moving around.
Yeah, 100%. Definitely, it's no Kyrie and KD getting moved like last trade deadline, but definitely some fun moves. I'm excited to get into it. Talk cap space, contracts, etc.
Yes,
Uh,
sir.
I guess we'll just start it off right here. So yesterday, we recorded a pod on Tuesday. Also, go check that out. Or on Monday, go check that out if you haven't already. It dropped yesterday. But on yesterday, the first trade happened. The Jazz traded uh Simone Fontecchio. I don't know if I'm saying his first name right. I also don't know if I'm saying his last name right, but he got traded from the Jazz to the Pistons for a 2024 second round pick. That's a second round pick via the Wizards. Probably going to be a top 5 second round pick this year. So effectively a late first in some people's eyes. Uh, Kevin Knox goes the other way, along with the draft rights to Gabriel Procida. Um, Not a major move, but I really like Fontecchio. Fontecchio? Something.
Simone Fontecchio.
Oh,
Maybe that's it.
go crazy.
Español sí, pero italiano no mucho. So I don't speak much Italian, but yeah, I mean, good, solid move for the Pistons. Uh, he's young enough, so why not? When you're that team, why not take a flyer?
For context, so he's started, I believe, 34 games, 30 games a season, something like that. His three-point shooting's up. This is the thing. In his rookie year, shot 33% from three, basically a 40% three-point shooter, shooting 7 of them a game. Uh, he's kind of a young sophomore. He's 28, so kind of interesting. But he was linked to the Celtics at one point, and I really like that fit. Honestly, I'm shocked the Pistons were able to get him for just 1 second rounder. Like, I know it's a good second rounder. Like, even if you're getting 2 of the Celtics second rounders, it's probably not worth this 1 second rounder, but I like it. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Shout out Pistons.
Little thing, I kind of like this guy, Prokita. Uh,
Yeah, what's his deal?
yeah, so his draft rights go to Utah. And so he declared for the draft back in 21 and then either withdrew or didn't get drafted. It was like a weird situation. Declared again in 22, was the 36th pick to Portland, and then was immediately traded on draft night to Utah. And he plays for Alba Berlin in the EuroLeague. He's
Mm.
small sample size, but he's scoring 18 points per game per 36 minutes. He's playing half of that, so he's scoring like 10 points a game. He's 22. I just thought it was interesting. He's a really high second round draft pick formerly, so I don't know. Keep an eye on that.
Hmm.
Do you want to take us into the next trade? I think this one's a little closer to your heart.
Yes, sir. Yeah, European ballers, man, they're it's so hard to assess their potential sometimes. And I think the stats can also be a little bit misleading because sometimes you see players with, those stat lines and you're like, oh, that guy's like no good.
Yeah.
That's all he's averaging. But for that team, that's exactly what's needed out of him, and he knows how to like play like that. So just gonna say, so yeah, that'll be interesting. Um, keep an eye on it. But the team that I'm excited for, man, the Celtics did pretty much exactly what we needed to do. I think so we took on Xavier Tillman from the Memphis Grizzlies. Shout out. Thank you, Xavier. Now I see why you did not play as well when the Grizzlies played the Celtics. You were gearing up to come here. Check out some of the local areas to live potentially, a Wellesley or a Concord or a Beacon Hill, wherever you want. Respect, man, and welcome to the city. Lamar Stevens, thank you for your service. Contracts match up really well there, so I don't think we use our TP. I don't know if that extends, Max. Does that extend into next season? Your trade player exception?
It's a year long.
It's a year
So
long.
you
Okay,
have
so
a year from the day you got the trade exception,
gotcha.
from what I can tell.
Okay, so I think that means that we could still utilize it until the next, or does that mean it just gets retired? do we just not use it? I don't know what that situation is, um, but yeah. So I mean, perfect fit for our team. Doesn't rebound the ball a lot, but defensive presence inside. We have Al Horford and Kristaps Porzingis who get injured a lot. Don't really fully trust Luke Kornet in the playoffs at this moment. And I think Nico Keita is a very good player from Portugal. Great player, good high energy. I don't know if he's quite ready for it, so I like having that versatility there. So fan of that. Well, what do you think about it?
I mean, I really like him. Like he's played for the Warriors' biggest rival for a while, right? In the Grizzlies, and he's killed us like in certain games. Like he hit a dagger pretty much in the play-ins in 2021 that sent us like back to the lottery. Um, so
Crazy.
I don't know. Like I think he's really good. He also can kind of discreetly stretch the floor. He's willing to shoot the three. It's not a high percentage, but
Yeah.
like again, he killed the Warriors on a three-point shot, which is like, I don't know, trauma memory. Uh, I think he's really good. He also doesn't get that many rebounds because he's playing next to like these 7-footers and JJJ, and like it's a lot tougher to get rebounds when everyone's hunting rebounds. Um, I genuinely love this. I love this deal. It's basically it's your insurance if either Porzingis or Horford get hurt. You lost that when you traded away with Rob Williams. You're able to get it back here. And honestly, Rob Williams probably would have been hurt by now. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he is.
Yeah.
It's tough. So
And
yeah, yeah,
2 second round picks.
yeah, whatever.
You're gunning for a chip. Let's go.
Yeah. So perfect fit. Big fan of it. Doesn't really matter. We could have traded for this guy or not. If Tatum's not the guy, Celtics don't win the chip. But great addition to this team.
Yeah. Insurance.
Insurance.
Yeah. And obviously life will be more difficult if Horford or Porzingis ever get hurt, but you got bodies. Also, he's just another body if you're in a series against Giannis, and
Right.
Giannis is just barreling down the court every time.
Mhm.
It's like it's just a body to kind of do the
Yeah.
wall strategy against
And he's
him.
young. He's young. He can move.
You guys get the bird rights again. Like it's like
Mhm.
extendable. I thought this was a fantastic trade. These first two trades that kicked off, like these are like basketball nerd trades, but I think they're very good trades in both cases. Uh, Slight note on Memphis. This trade allows them to like continue going under the second apron, even though they'll have three max contract players starting next year with Bane, Ja, JJJ. Um, I think this is interesting that they get 2 second round picks back. It's like nice and all, but I like Tillman. I know he was expiring this year, but maybe it would have been worth it to keep it around to see if his price stays low enough to extend him. But they're really in an asset. They're really trying to accumulate a lot of assets. So I understand it there, but yeah.
Yeah. Tough position for them. Good,
Um,
good move though to help them out financially, at least for a small market team.
yeah.
When
They don't operate like a small market team though, which I respect. Like they're willing to hand out like extensions. They extended Steven Adams after already having like two max contracts handed out. I was like, I respect it. I respect it. And then they're gonna keep Luke Kennard this offseason, honestly, which is like I think that's the underlying move of all of these moves is they're trying to get into a spot where they can extend Kennard and not be paying like crazy tax. I don't know. Next trade that was on the board around the same time yesterday. Monty Morris traded from the Pistons to Timberwolves for a Minnesota second in 2030, and then two salaries in Shake Milton and Troy Brown. Personally, I am not the biggest fan of Monty Morris. He's been in playoff games. He's been a good sixth man. He's kind of bounced around the league over the last 2 years. This year, he's played 6 games. But I mean, last year he shot 48% from the field, 38% from three, scoring 10 points a game on a Wizards team that was terrible, frankly. And he wasn't that bad. So I can understand why the T-Wolves did it. Anthony, how are you feeling about this? I guess they did need some backcourt help.
I like this pick. I just seen a video on Twitter of him doing that to y'all, hitting that 3-pointer buzzer beater. Looked like the buzzer sounded as his hand was still on the ball, but no, it was not when they checked the reviews.
Yeah.
So that's tough, man. I mean, he's a good shooter. It does help fill a need. I don't really think that they were gunning for a defensive stalwart here, who Monte Morris is not, and they just weren't ever going to use him in Detroit. So I think it's a solid pickup. Why not have it? Um, so for what, 2030 Minnesota third, okay, wake me up in 6 years. Shake Milton and Troy Brown. Like that's what are you doing, Pistons?
Their
I don't know.
bodies, their bodies. I mean, they'll waive. I don't expect Shake or Troy Brown to be sticking around on the Pistons. Like this was, but Monty Morris was also useless on the Pistons. When you got
Right.
Jaden Ivey and Cade, it's like you don't want any minutes going to Monty Morris are a loss for you when you're developing those guys. So I get it, but
Yeah.
I think Monty Morris is nice and all. I just this isn't like evolving my view on the T Wolves or something, but
Hmm.
it's a fringe move. I get it.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Um, the next big trade that we had. This is the first big trade. This is today, this morning. Buddy Hield. Anyone who follows Buddy Hield's burner, we don't really know if it's really his burner on Twitter, but shout out. Buddy Hield traded from the Pacers to the 76ers this morning for Marcus Morris, Furkan Korkmaz, and 3 second-round picks. Um, Hield's expiring this year. Woj said this about an hour ago that apparently the Pacers at some point in the last year had a sizable offer on the table uh for like an extension, and Hield said no. I assume that's like 20 million a year plus. He's not getting that in free agency anymore.
Yeah, I mean, no, he's not. I get it though. You want out of Indiana. I get it. And he's good, man. He can come back and play pretty well. So who knows? I mean, if we have time, we can talk about Embiid. That timeline's looking a bit iffy, but maybe he'll do a reverse of what he usually does. And instead of being healthy in the regular season and getting injured in the playoffs, he'll just be injured in the regular season and then come back, get healthy. But who knows? Overall, if he stays, I think it's a great addition to this team. Helps with floor spacing. Lets Embiid continue to do his thing one on one. So overall, I mean, and then I like the 3 second round picks. Could you use that to flip it for something later on if you're Indiana, which I think is a big move for them. So
Mhm.
yeah, what do you
Is
think?
it okay? Is this maybe a move for next year? I know Hield's expiring, but you could definitely because Maxi's cap hit is going to be so low. They're going to give Maxi's a big contract at some point in the offseason next year. They'll probably wait so that they can leverage the fact that his cap hit's only gonna be like 15 million until he signs that contract. So I was thinking, if you got Embiid, maybe you re-sign Tobias, we'll see. But Hield's only gonna be like 10 mil, honestly. That's honestly kind of value because you get his bird rights and with the Maxi funny business, and he'll also be good this year, of course. That's another part of it. But I kind of wonder if I kind of feel like Hield's but stays next year. I don't know.
Yeah. So seems kind of like a win-win here. If you weren't really going to get much for Buddy Hield, then why not make this move? He's finally away from the Lakers allegations. Shout out.
I
Fine.
mean, I kind of would have wished he would have got to the
I
Lakers or
know.
something. Though. It would
I
have
know.
kind of been more fun. I don't know.
Yeah.
They
Ugh.
still would have played no defense, but
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
small note on Buddy, he's also like the advanced stats kind of have him out to be a lot better than Benedict Matherin, who's about to replace him in Indiana. I kind of feel like Buddy was a good fit there. I don't really know what happened. I don't really know why. It felt like he was always going to get traded, and Indiana wanted to go young, but I don't know. I think maybe like 2 years from now, Buddy's going to be thinking like maybe I should have stayed in Indiana.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe he'll come back. One of the quietest controversies that we haven't seen. Uh, Also, shout out, also involved in this trade, Furkan Korkmaz. He has been on the Sixers for this was his eighth or ninth season. He's wanted to leave them for five. And Furkan Korkmaz requested a trade in November of 2018. And congratulations, my friend. You have finally escaped Philadelphia. Welcome to your new home in Indianapolis. And we hope you're very happy, unless you get waived.
He got waived already.
Oh, okay.
He already
Just him
got
just
waived, bro.
running like I'm free.
And it's also hilarious because it's not like he like kept requesting trades. Like every
Yeah,
trade deadline, we'd always have that one tweet from Shams, which by the way, Furkan's agent must be just tight with Shams if he's getting Shams to tweet that out. But
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Also he's top 10 in all-time three-pointers made for the 76ers.
Dude, that's a deep hole.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah,
Future Celtic.
maybe. We'll see. Don't love his attitude.
You want to take us into the next one?
Oh, yes, sir. Speaking of Celtics, not future Celtics, but past, Kelly Olynyk and Ochai Agbaji.
Baji.
Thank you. I totally butchered that. They get traded from the Jazz to the Raptors for Kira Lewis, Otto Porter, 2024 first round pick. Good move for the Jazz. Good move getting a first round pick out of what seemed like the best situation. Not sure if could they have had better, definitely, but and then the Raptors, not really sure what your move is here. Don't know if your like goal is to just get like a player that's pretty good. Maybe you're just trying to help a Canadian man realize his dreams and go back across the border to whence he came from. I don't know. Canada's a pretty big country too, but it doesn't really make sense for the Raptors. I don't know what they're really thinking.
It's literally like the same trade as when they got Pirtle, like what, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, where they traded actually their first round pick in 2024 at the time, which is now, which is kind of interesting because they might play themselves out of their own first round pick this year. Uh, but then they had to extend Pirtle instantaneously, just like they're gonna have to extend Olynyk. I don't love this trade, man. This first is the worst between like four different teams. It's a low end first, it's basically a high. It's basically equivalent to the Wizards second round pick that was traded earlier for Fontecchio. But like,
De hecho,
fun, do it again. I need practice.
con techo.
Fontecchio.
Yeah, perfect.
Kind of,
Um,
I'm kind of, but yeah. So
Olynyk.
I feel like Agbaji. If you're the Raptors, I think you're really hoping Agbaji's nice, which I think he's really good. But like he could never really play 30 minutes a game and push Chris Dunn out of the rotation in Utah, which as good as Chris Dunn has looked in Utah, it's like things like that are kind of interesting to me. Um, I don't know. You need to shoot the ball a little bit better, but
Yeah. But overall, interesting trade and maybe something they get out of that. So, but I like it for the Jazz.
yeah, I like it for the Jazz too. Kelly Olynyk just 100% getting traded at the deadline again next year, but like honestly. Um, moving on. This is an interesting trade. This is one of my favorite trades of the day. Gordon Hayward gets traded from the Hornets to the Thunder for Trey Mann, Davis Bertans, Micic. I don't know if I can say this. Vasily Micic. Might have killed it low key. And two second round picks. Hayward's expiring this offseason, and there's no real route for the Thunder to get like that big of a salary like slot so that they can use in a trade in the future. So I kind of think Hayward's about to get paid. Um, I thought this was a great trade. I actually think this is a great trade all around. I really like Trey Mann. I like that he's going to get an opportunity to play.
Mhm.
Really like Micic. Like that he's going to get an opportunity to play. And I like the Hornets are like basically moving on from this era. I don't know.
Yeah, I like Trey Man a lot too. Averaging 16, 5 and 4 in his per 36 minutes when he's on the court. He just doesn't play enough. So good for him to get to Charlotte. Love this for the Thunder.
Love.
This is a great veteran. I've been to the playoffs before. Move. I think is exactly what they need for a guy that can just put up 12 points per game consistently, reliably. I loved him as a Celtic. He was such a great player as a Celtic. He's a great player um for Charlotte. And you see those videos though of people saying this is the guy that you're getting, and it's videos of him in Utah just dunking on people. And people are like, is that Kobe in this highlight?
Is that Thon Maker? I saw
Yeah.
that. Yes. I mean, I mean, I still think Gordon Hayward's really good.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think he's a great fit because now you don't have to play Josh Giddey because as much as Bill Simmons wants to put Josh Giddey in his top 75 trade value guys, Josh Giddey's not going to be playing end of games anymore. It's going to be Shea, Lou Dort, Gordon Hayward, J Dub, Chet. And so that five man, first of all, great defense all around. Like I know Hayward isn't like a A+ defender or something, but like if he's your worst defender, which he is in that lineup, you're in a good spot. And like Hayward's also a great passer. He's gonna keep the ball moving, doesn't need the ball that much. And also I think he's had his time on the teams with losing mentality where he was scoring points. And then he also learned from his experience where even he admitted that everyone on the Celtics had their own agenda.
Right.
Think it's a great fit. I think it's a great fit. I think he'll be there for a while, and he fits Oklahoma, frankly.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Utah, Boston, Charlotte, and then Oklahoma, baby.
And he went to
Just
Butler with Brad Stevens as his coach. Come on.
dude,
He's gonna be
yeah.
great in Oklahoma.
He will be given free access to any restaurant within 55 miles of the city.
100%.
Congratulations, Gordon Hayward. Golly.
Good.
Uh, yeah, who else we got? Daniel House traded from Philly. Um, Congratulations. Honestly, I just love this guy for trying to sneak a woman into the bubble. And that's pretty much all I'll think about him. Besides, oh my gosh, could he be a LeBron stopper in that one video of him from high school where he kind of looks like LeBron and he's playing absolutely out of his mind. But shout out. He's a pretty good player. Hopefully he finds a home.
Former Warrior, Santa Cruz Warrior,
Oh,
Summer League. Um,
okay.
I mean, fun player. He's like a Daryl Morey. He's one of the Daryl Morey guys. Kind of follows Daryl Morey wherever Daryl Morey goes. PJ
Mm,
Tucker, James Harden, Daniel House.
Robert
Kyle
Covington.
Lowry is not Kyle
Robert
Lowry,
Covington?
Robert Covington.
Mm.
So I don't know. I don't know if I don't even know if Robert Covington's played for Daryl Morey on more than one team
Is
though.
Rocco on the Rockets?
Rocco is on the
He
dude.
was on the
He's on
Rockets
this.
though.
He was on the Rockets and he's on the 76ers now. You're right. You're right. You're right.
Damn.
But
It's
yeah,
a
that
list.
he's the Daryl Morey squad. I'm sure Daniel House will get picked up. I could honestly he won't go he won't be back there, but he'll go to a pretty good team that needs to fill a slot. I can see the Suns. But
Yeah.
uh next up, another big one. The Knicks. Quentin Grimes. See ya, buddy. Bojan Bogdanovic. Alec Burks. Get in. Evan Fournier, get out. Ryan Arcidiacono. I'm so sorry, man. You're out too. 2 second round picks gone. Overall, this is a very interesting trade. Bogdanovich is basically a guy who scored 20 points per game for like a decade now, which funny, flies under the radar.
Yeah.
Alec Burks, one of the better pure scorers that this league's seen, according to advanced stats. I was seeing something that he has like one of the most efficient, like catch and shoots, one of the most efficient ISO games and etc. Just a relatively limited player, as much as those things sound great. But Detroit gets Quinn Grimes, who's going to play 30 minutes a game for the next 3 years for them, minimum. And then we'll see from there. So I think this is great. I think this is a flipping fantastic trade for the Knicks. If Bogdanovich gets hurt tomorrow and he's out for the year, next year's contract is partially guaranteed for 2 million anyways. It's like, I don't know, low risk. I know Grimes is really good, but again, Bogdanovich hasn't scored under 17 points per game in like 8 years.
Um, both great shooters, both shooting over 40% from three. Just really going to help out with some of that wing. I mean, I know Dante DiVincenzo's a solid scorer, but I think of these guys like absolute bucket getters. Josh Hart does not get buckets like these guys know how to get buckets. So that just completely helps on that side of the ball. Yeah, good move around the edges for the Knicks there.
Do you like it
The
better? Do you like it
yeah.
better than Brogdon? Had they had gotten him for Grimes?
Um, Brogdon, I think, is a better two-way player, right? But there's the injury concern. I think the combined health of these two guys out probably outweighs the Brogdon injury stuff.
I think I agree with you too. Bogdanovich is really limited defensively, but I've been thinking about this. I think these two trades, I think this trade, instead of trading for Brogdon, is an attempt to elevate Brunson and Randall because these are not major creators, but they are great off ball and I don't know, complementary pieces, right? Um, Now you can play Randall with Burks and Hart and DiVincenzo with a center, and like Randall's going to get to be the fulcrum of the team for a little bit. Um, in probably a better situation than he is on the starting lineup where Brunson's got the ball so much, right? So I really like this trade. I personally like it a lot better than Brogdon. I think Brogdon's okay. I don't know. I think him alone is a little bit worse than Bogdanovich. Maybe I'm too high on a guy in Bogdanovich who's been on the Pistons for 2 years, but I don't want to forget Bogdanovich on the Jazz when he was the fourth best guy, and they were second or first in the West every year.
Consistently.
Yeah. Um,
Where might this put the Knicks?
you're in the East, big dog. How do you feel about them?
Eh. I mean, definitely tougher, but now it's 6 or 7 instead of 5 or 6. So that's kind of what it feels like.
Yeah,
Uh,
this isn't the trade that's changing that series.
yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, I know that those guys will hit tough shots. Alec Burks against the Celtics just scares the crap out of me for whatever reason. But I mean, with what's going on in Milwaukee right now, there's a window. The Knicks beat the Cavs last year, so they might not be scared of them, even if they finish with a great record. East is suddenly really opened up with Embiid hurt. So third round is now up for grabs.
I agree. And like you're a Tatum injury away from being the Eastern Conference favorites, like
Yeah.
so I don't know, it's pretty I like it. I like it because they also retain a lot of their assets. They can really go shopping in the offseason if they want to because they've got a ton of firsts, a lot of contracts that they can use to match. Because Bogdanovich, if they guarantee him, he's a $20 million contract next year that they can then trade. Um, I don't know. I hate to say it. I really like this for the Knicks. And I really like the Knicks moves in general for like the last like year and a half, and it
They've been
sucks.
killing it. Since they got Josh Hart, they've been killing it.
It sucks, dude.
Why does it suck? What are you, a Knicks hater?
No, I will say it's good for basketball when the Knicks are good. I love New York City. I think their fan base is like one of the most lit fan bases, like absolutely. But it's also so fun to clown them. It's so fun. It was so fun that the by far the biggest market in basketball and sports, etc., had this basketball team that they loved that could not get out of the Eastern Conference for like 60 years. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, that's crazy.
And then they finally did it when their best player was like mid in like the 90s,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Objectively, historically mid.
Yeah. So
Crazy. Um, some other stuff happening in the Big Apple on the Brooklyn side. So Dennis Schroeder and Thaddeus Young coming to Brooklyn. Um, Traded over with Spencer Dinwiddie. Thaddeus Young waived. Great player in his 18th, 17th, 18th year. Shout out to Thaddeus Young. Schroeder and Dinwiddie kind of have the same contracts, or rather stat lines, like exactly same stat line. So sort of like, what are you thinking about what's going to happen here? I think Dinwiddie's getting waived. Lakers could be a team that might look for a guy like this as services. What do you make of this trade over here?
I think this is the worst trade of the day in my eyes. I can't understand what the Raptors are doing. You trade Schroeder, who's like is a net positive, has been quite good this year, especially at the beginning of the season, pretty quickly. But and he's also a good defensive player, which Dinwiddie is not. And he's got a year left on his contract next year. You trade him for Dinwiddie, who now you're cutting.
Yeah.
This just feels like an overall net negative. And it's not even like they're in salary cap hell or anything like that. So
Mm,
I don't know. I'm literally like dumbfounded. There wasn't even a pick. There wasn't even a second rounder or
just straight up
two second
trading.
rounders going the other way or something. Like, was Dennis Schroeder really like not worth 1 second? Could you not find a team that was willing to offer you 1 second round pick for Dennis Schroeder? Like, I don't know. Um, and I don't think Dinwiddie's great. Like, I think he's fine. If he's a starter for your team, you're probably in a bad spot. So
Yeah.
it is what it is. Cal Kuzma gets the last laugh in their beef. I don't know
For now.
for now.
Yeah.
Kuzma, shit,
Kuzma's cleared him for a minute though.
yeah, shit. Kuzma almost got traded though. So,
Yo,
yeah.
shout out, beat all that.
Um. Uh. Next trade that happened. This is also in timeline order too. So you're like whoever's listening, you guys are like reliving what we were living today.
Mm.
PJ Washington traded from Charlotte to Dallas for Grant Williams, Seth Curry, and a 2027 first round pick. This is kind of fun. This is like two teams trading guys they just extended. Grant Williams obviously just signed, sorry. This offseason with the Mavericks, 4 years, 55. PJ Washington just re-signed with Charlotte, 3 years, 46 mil. They get traded for each other. So PJ has been a lot worse this year, frankly, defensively, eye test wise, etc. He's also just kind of seemed a little bit checked out, frankly. Grant Williams in Dallas, it never really feel like it truly got going. It felt like it could have been a pretty good fit on paper, but it didn't really end up happening.
I agree with you on that for sure. Big contract that they signed. I think his 3-point percentage started off so hot at the beginning of the year and then just progressively got worse month by month by month. Not really sure why. Maybe it's a product of playing with Luca. Um, sorry, Luca, giving you a stray there, but just seeing how Kristaps played there and then is now playing on the Celtics. Difference. Different kind of team. But for the Mavs, I think overall this is a really good pick. So great pickup. PJ Washington, solid body, solid defender. So I think overall, good move for Dallas.
Yeah, I agree. In theory, he should be a better defender. There's been moments, honestly, I've watched him. He's been like just falling asleep on defense this year, and it's like I'm like, man, but he's not been this bad defensively his whole career. He won't be this bad on a team that's actually trying. Like that's something I'm truly like not concerned about at all. He's also not super high usage, which is nice next to Luca and Kyrie. Um, Respectfully, I also don't think Grant is that good. I think he like serves like a really specific role and like he deserves his contract, frankly. He deserves a spot in the NBA, deserves all that, deserves to play for good teams, but he was their third best guy rolling into this year. Like,
Yeah, we know who he is.
you are
Shout
what
out.
we thought you were.
Yeah, dude. He had that huge game 7 for the Celtics against Milwaukee. And then since then was like, I'm gonna just take it to the rack every time. No, not that guy.
He's also not a guy where like the three ball goes out of his hands. He's like, because he's for his career, he shoots like what, 41%? It's
Great
like,
shooting.
but when you watch him shoot, am I like, oh, like I'm not like let's go another Grant Williams three. Like I don't know.
Okay, to be fair, I was very much like that when he played for us because he could hit threes like nobody else. But yeah, his form's very ugly.
Yeah,
Yeah. Sean Murray looking at. Yeesh.
jank.
Ugh. Speaking of somebody else who is necessarily known for the greatest shooting form, Max, you want to take us on the next trade?
Royce O'Neal.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. He was traded from Brooklyn to Phoenix for salaries. That was the exact tweet from Shams, which is why I'm saying it like that. I thought it was hilarious. Imagine like there's a trade that happens, like you see Shams tweet just says salaries, you're like whatever, and someone calls you, is like you just got traded. You're like, damn, like I was salaries. Like that,
Yeah.
that would suck. But Royce O'Neal gets traded from Brooklyn to Phoenix for 3 second round picks. Royce O'Neal is one of my favorite role players in the NBA. Also, slight note. Brooklyn traded a first for him at the beginning of last season. What an L. They immediately started selling within like a month of trading him because of the KD business. But Royce O'Neal, I mean, basically shoots 38% every single year and plays good defense and doesn't need the ball. I don't know. I really like him as a player. Perfect
Yeah.
player for the Suns.
Mhm.
Weird thing here, so like he's expiring and they retain his bird rights, but as a part of the trade, David Roddy goes to Phoenix in some three-team trade business, but Yuta Watanabe goes to Memphis. Some other expirings going elsewhere. I really like Yuta Watanabe. I feel like he hasn't got. I don't know. I don't know. He was like the best corner 3-point shooter in the league last year. So I'm like, I don't know what happened here, but yeah.
Shame for him. Royce is great. And when Brooklyn made that trade with Utah, they figured, well, we have KD, so and we have Kyrie, so he really fits in as a veteran guy. Well, he wanted to play with KD. He finally gets his wish. Back with Phoenix. Now you get your chance at a ring. I like this move for Phoenix a lot. It helps with their depth. A lot of the questions we had about their depth, which has been their Achilles heel, have really been answered by this. And their starting lineup is one of the best five plus minus in the NBA.
Disgusting, disgusting. I would have liked to see him get a big body. I don't love Nurkic, but yeah,
Yeah,
beggars can't be choosers. When you got Brad Beal, KD, and Devin Booker,
true.
got space to do other stuff. I don't know.
True. But yeah, I'm sure we'll get into soon, like what we think about the Suns going forward. Looking forward to that.
I need to see them a little bit more together, but I'm pretty
Mhm.
excited by them. I'm not, I was very out on them when they were first formed, but the more I watch them, the more I find myself talking myself into them, which
Hmm.
I don't want to. But Devin Booker's so good, man. Big fan.
Sweet. Yeah, he is so good. He was killing in the second round against the Nuggets last year, bro.
Gross.
Killing. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I guess I'll just cover the next trade really quickly. Patrick Beverly traded from the 76ers to Milwaukee for a 2027 second round pick.
Yeah.
Don't really get it for I don't know. I don't really get it for the 76ers, but maybe they're just trying to get one of those second round picks back that they traded for Buddy Hield. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Net improvement for the Bucks, I guess. So I like his podcast. He's got a good podcast. So looking forward to that. He was talking about how he has to figure out his beef with Dame.
Yeah,
That'll be fun.
they'll be fine. He played with Russ already and they squashed it.
Exactly.
He's been pretty good. He's
Yeah.
he's been especially over this last few stretch of games, he's been very, very good. Obviously he's never been the greatest 3-point shooter, but the defense that he can provide you, especially when he's if he's shooting 44% from the field right now, even if it's not great on three, you could deal with that with as good as defense is going to give you. Like I don't know. Milwaukee just added a guy, which I know he's old, like has been a defensive player of the year, top 10 vote three different times in his career. So
Yeah. Yeah. And it answers they need backcourt defense. So
God
this
knows
puts
it.
at least a hole.
Yeah.
Adrian Griffin. All right. But yeah, so shout out Pat Bev. One big trade super excited for is Daniel Gafford. Personally, I love this move. It's for Rashawn Holmes and draft compensation. So big fan of this. Curious what you think about this overall, though. But I love the idea of guys been averaging 11 and 8 in Washington. I think he just kind of helps in the Western Conference. You need more centers. You need guys that can stop. If you the likes of Rudy Gobert and Cat, if you play them in the first round, if you play the Nuggets in the first round, those teams are all up there. So any opportunity that you have to stock up on those big bodies. If the Lakers make it into the playoffs and end up playing the Mavs for whatever reason too, another couple guys that can at least do something there. So overall, I kind of like this. This helps with their size questioning. This helps with their rebound problem. So and he partners with Lively really well. Maybe they can't really play on the court at the same time together. Maybe one of them has to learn how to start shooting threes, which is a tough ask, but they're both pretty young. I don't hate this. What do you think?
I mean, I love Lively to get that out of the way first. Like I
Hmm.
think he's really good. So off the bat, it just surprised me a bit, but I also do really like Gafford. And I do think this is also kind of a value play, frankly. He's under team control. If you ever need to move him, he'll be easy to move because he's also a really good player, frankly. So that's first. I You get to upgrade Rashawn Holmes to Dan Gafford, get more depth, which is the main thing they're lacking. Guys like Dwight Powell can also play off of other centers, which is like fine. Um, and Dallas gives so the draft compensation is Dallas giving OKC the right to swap 2028 first round picks in exchange for OKC's 2024 first, either like it's the best of OKC and the Clippers first this year. So the Wizards get immediate draft compensation through the Thunder, who get the rights to swap with Dallas in 2028. Really creative route. The Thunder just have a bunch of first round picks, and they're trying to basically get more assets and back end a lot of more of these picks too. That's why they make this trade. And then if you're Washington, you get an immediate first round pick that'll be top 25 probably. I don't know. I think it's a good trade all around. I kind of wish Gafford stayed in Washington though.
Because
I don't really see the point of moving him. It's not like you have some sort of center that's knocking on the door right now. He's under team control. Why not wait till the offseason if you are going to move him? And also, if I'm Washington, I want to be trading my old guys and my shot chuckers, not Daniel Gafford necessarily.
oh no, Washington, what is you doing?
Yeah. You
Yeah.
do get a first, though. This is the thing. Like a first round pick when you're in a situation like Washington is always going to be valuable. So that
Right.
um
Maybe you play him for another year, see how he goes, because he was kind of getting on an upward trajectory.
yeah, I feel like this has been by far his best year so far. Granted, like Dan Gafford is in year six of the NBA, but he's only 25. So
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I don't know. He's very limited as a player, and you're gonna have to be pretty one track minded with whatever team you build that has Dan Gafford starting. Like you got to be willing to run pick and rolls, get him involved in that way and stuff like that. But I don't know. I thought this was an interesting trade. I do have a question. I kind of wonder what Dallas could have gotten with that first. Would you have would Kelly Olynyk have been better for this team or no?
Mm.
It's
If
a
he
bad example because they traded more than what it would have taken to get Kelly Olynyk for
sure,
Gafford, but
but that guy, that mold of player,
yeah, would someone like that have made more sense?
yeah. If the rebounding for Olynyk was a little bit higher, then I would say like somebody like that would be great. I mean, best option. I feel like we're talking about a Miles Turner type of player, right? Like somebody that can shoot, not that good, but
Yeah,
to that mold.
100%, hundred
Yeah.
percent,
Um.
like a Porzingis type player.
Yeah. Hypothetically,
Yeah.
that's crazy. Um.
Um,
But yeah, I mean, somebody like that would have been great. I mean, that's why I don't know. Maybe they start teaching Lively. We've seen centers later in their career all of a sudden start shooting threes. Al Horford
and
for
lively in practice and in clips that I've seen has shown an ability to step out a bit, but like,
Vooch really started hitting threes when he wasn't before. So a
yeah,
lot of these guys can kind of make that transition
yeah,
if they work on it.
and I guess like the Olynyk comp, I guess like instead of getting Olynyk, they got PJ Washington. Like I know they're not exactly the same player, but between him and Gafford, they'll fill that role.
Right. Of a big that can shoot.
Yeah. And frankly, they're better than Olynyk, but that just can't come up with a better example right now because he
Right.
just got traded. Small last few notes, some minor trades that affect your and I's team. I put this on our little list. Jaden Springer goes from Philadelphia to Boston for a second round pick. Jaden Springer is really, really good defensively. I've been following him for a little bit because I've seen some clips. And also the Warriors have played Philly like two times in the last week, so I've gotten to see him a lot recently. He's really good defensively. I like how active he is. I feel like the fans in Philly really liked him as well. I don't know. I think this is really interesting slash good get for Boston. Another. just an aspect player off the bench, a guy who's a little different to Sam Hauser and Peyton Pritchard. Just he might give you 10 minutes in a different way than those guys if needed. I don't
Hell yeah, man. Always
know.
down for it. Always down for a project. Got nothing else to add. Looking forward to him on the seas.
Yeah. And then Corey Joseph is off my basketball team. Thank you for your time. We paid the Pacers $5 million to take him because the tax bill was worth it still after doing that. Um, we
Welcome
also get
home.
we also got a second round pick back though, next year's draft. So we'll have a pick in next year's draft that we'll probably waste. It's the second round pick. But the more exciting part is Lester Quinones, who's been on two-way with us. He's a young guy that we developed out of Santa Cruz, the G League team. He's probably going to replace Corey Joseph. And in our rotation, he already has. Like, he played 20 minutes or last 3 straight games, 20 minutes a game. I think last night he was 4 for 7 from three, something like that. So just an interesting thing. I'm excited about it. And honestly, good on the organization for taking Corey Joseph away from Steve Kerr because that guy was Steve Kerr was trying to play Corey Joseph every time he saw him. It was crazy. Couldn't believe it.
Kind of get why, but yeah. Goodbye, good riddance. Good for you guys not really making too many moves, addition by subtraction at the trade deadline.
Yeah. I
We'll see.
it's not a Warriors podcast, but I don't love the lack of moves, but yeah.
Gang, gang. Um, well, on that note, want to do a quick overview of who do we think did well in this trade deadline, whether if they traded or didn't. Who do you think did not do well?
My losers are Toronto. I can't understand what they did. So like of today in particular, the Siakam trade aside, today in particular, I can't really understand the Olynyk stuff with the first, especially when you just re-signed Pirtle. He's got 3 years left on his contract, something like that. I know Olynyk can play next to him and play next to Barnes, but you're gonna have to extend him anyways. Weird one. You didn't trade Bruce Brown, who was like one of the main centerpieces that you got back in the Siakam trade. I know you can wait till the offseason to trade Bruce Brown, but it's like I don't know. Are you gonna get a first? Are you gonna get two firsts in the offseason for Bruce Brown, like when he's expiring? I don't know. Weird trades for me out of them. Like again, that's outside of the Siakam and OG Anunoby trades. Like just today, I thought that was
Yeah, I see that. I'll hear that one and flip you mine. I think once again, I don't really like what the Hornets did.
mm,
I mean, you trade away PJ Washington, who we both agree has some value, for Grant Williams. Not the biggest Grant Williams guy. Seth Curry's a good player. Maybe you flip him for something, but just didn't really seem like you're getting the value that you could have gotten. Um, and then who was the other guy? Oh, Gordon Hayward. I don't know. I do like Trey Mann, but I think other than that, didn't really make out like bandits. I also might just be hating on Charlotte to hate on Charlotte specifically, but not very eye-popping.
I mean, the returns are definitely not eye-popping, but in a weird way, I like just that they got rid of everyone. I think they're gonna let Miles Bridges expire in the offseason too, and they're just gonna go, okay, clean slate. We have LaMelo and Brandon Miller. Let's see what we can do. Which, first of all, pretty good young core. But I think if they re-sign Miles Bridges, I'm very surprised, honestly. I don't even think he's been that good this year. But I feel like I think they were just trying to dump and culture change. Grant Williams, if you want a culture change, let's bring in Grant Williams. Let's bring in some young guys like Micic, who's a center who can pass, and we can try different stuff. Like, I don't know. They didn't get much back in return, to be totally fair.
Hmm.
But I just like I like the spirit of these moves, I guess, for Charlotte.
Spirit, spirit, spirit. Yeah, bro. I mean, overall, Charlotte's gonna Charlotte. The other teams, honestly, all these trades they felt small enough that nobody really got fleeced. And then I think outright the teams that received the better players got better, but nobody really overall was kind of just like thrown for a loop here. And then to your point, the only team that did everything right and then still were like, what are you doing? Is kind of Toronto. Because like they felt like they're taking in talent and then they're losing talent. And then they have the OG Anunoby trade earlier this year. So sort of like this like recycle like this what's it called? The revolving door of
Yeah,
players and talent and assets and sort of like what are you doing?
yeah. I think Toronto is like a team that tries to maintain continuity and believes in their culture, and I think that's why they're willing to trade for Kelly Olynyk, even if they are rebuilding, just because they see it as value. But yeah, I don't know. They're weird. Also, Bulls not making a trade, not even worth talking about that because on the last pod we were like they're not gonna make a trade, but it's like it's so predictable and it's just like embarrassing. Just overall, like
You have a great stat.
yeah, what they haven't made a player related trade since August 2021, and they've made one trade, and it was trading picks for the draft rights of someone. Um,
Is
that
there
was last offseason.
big
So
moves?
yeah, it I told you this before the pod. It's like they made a deadline deal where they got Vucevic for Franz and all these guys and Wendell Carter, and it went terribly. And that was the first year of their GM. And now their GM's like, we can't make a trade deadline deal ever again. And then what? They're gonna wait till the offseason. DeRozan's gonna expire, or DeRozan's gonna get re-signed for way too much money. And then you have Caruso, who's now gonna be expiring next offseason. Probably hurts their value. Sorry, I've been seeing rumors on the TL from some Warriors reporters, etc., that like the Warriors, the only move they really wanted to make, like they made a bunch of calls, but by the end it looked like the Caruso was the only realistic move. And from what I saw, I think they might have offered the Bulls like two firsts and Moses Moody, and maybe even a swap.
It
So it's
won,
like,
bro.
if you got offered that for Caruso, I know you like Caruso and you're the Bulls, etc., but just like get the assets, start accumulating assets. Let's restart it. I don't know.
Bro, yeah. Also, could the Bulls have had a starting lineup of Kobe White, Ao, Caruso, Franz, and Wendell Carter Jr.? And also, wait, Lauri Markkanen?
Yeah. And
Those all
well,
players that
and DeRozan. DeRozan was free agent signing.
that's a good team. That's a very good team.
What Levine got there through the Jimmy Butler trade a while ago too.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so they could have just kept that's a much better team.
If they literally don't make any trades, it's funny. In the last 4 years, when they should have made a bunch of trades, they didn't. And the 5 years before that, when they made a bunch of trades and they shouldn't, they screwed themselves. It's like,
Yeah. Wah,
uh,
wah.
little more positive note. Any winners? I kind of like the Nets low key. I know Royce O'Neal got moved, and you'd like to get a first round pick for him, and but it's like Dinwiddie goes for, and you just replace him with Schroeder. You don't get that much worse. You don't have your first round pick. There's no point in getting that much worse, but you get a little bit of assets. You get Schroeder, who next year you'll flip for a bunch of seconds again, and it's like I don't mind it.
Yeah, good for them. Again, like not you can't really come out swinging on top of any of these, but
Yeah, and if you're the Nets, are you really trading McCall Bridges right now and like stuff like that? Like, there's no point.
also his value isn't as high as it was before.
Yeah.
So I would wait.
You just might as well wait till you're a little bit more competitive. You don't have your first anyways.
Hmm.
Just, just keep chilling. Try to figure out the Cam Thomas stuff. Like,
Yeah, facts. You'll be all right, baby.
yeah,
Um, Other winners, yeah, I think OKC knocked it out of the park. Absolutely knocked it out of the park.
yeah,
Just great,
great call.
great move for them and something that other teams will be like, uh-oh, that's not good for us.
I,
Yeah.
I'm excited. I don't know. I think everyone's addicted to the idea of them getting a big, which was like I get it. Chet can play next to another big, but they win their games by going five out. Like
Mhm.
just shore up on the wing, another guy who could pass the ball. I don't know. They're scary, man. They are scary. And dude, they're so good defensively. I can't get over them. I'm so excited to see these Thunder.
Positive Thunder podcast.
Yeah. Um Knicks, Dallas winners. We talked about them a lot. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Too bad about OG Anunoby. The recent report he's out for 3 weeks for an elbow surgery or fix a chipped bone in his elbow. So hopefully he gets back soon.
Yeah, I'm not worried. I'm 3 weeks. He'll be back. He'll
Yeah.
have some time to play before the playoffs. It'll be a good excuse for Tibbs not to play him 40 minutes a game like he was before. Like,
Seriously.
I don't know.
And with Brunson was announced out tonight, and Anunoby's now out. Randall, this gives and Mitch Robinson. So a lot of their players are getting licensed to get more minutes. It's good.
I forgot Mitch is gonna be back too. Did you see do you remember the Knicks applied for a disabled player exception for
I
Mitch
did see
and
that.
then they got rejected because the NBA was like, no, he's gonna come back, and now he's about to come back. I'm like, the Knicks, like, why did you apply for this? I don't know. It's like so it's just so random, but it's like, why did you apply for the exception if there was a chance he was gonna come back? Like
Might he come back soon?
in a few weeks. The rumor is like he's kind
Oh,
of starting to ramp up. Like this is not gonna be like a round two of the playoff situation.
huh? Jason
It's
traded Jason traded him to me for Josh Hart.
in fantasy.
Yeah. Nice. Thanks,
Well,
Jason.
you're looking like the Knicks in real life.
Is
Uh,
there
some other trades, just quick recap.
Yeah.
Talking about the whole season of trades, we have the OG Anunoby trade to the Knicks. That
Yep.
was quickly and RJ going the other way. Siakam to the Pacers. That was three firsts, two this year actually, which is funny. Two firsts this year, one later. Bruce Brown goes to Toronto, who doesn't get moved in general. Any season, like any trade winners of the season? Anyone who comes out particularly better than everyone else now that we've seen the trades?
Like in terms of how good their team is, or in terms of how well they were trading?
Like relative to where they were at pre-trades.
I
Like
think the Knicks just shored up a lot of what they needed to do, so they look good. I really like what the Mavs did. Um, and I mean, those were the teams that really made those trades. I don't. I mean, I like the Pacers too. The Pacers elevated their ceiling, so they're more competitive.
100%. I will say the Pacers, I don't think we'll see the Siakam trade necessarily play off this year. Like that's gonna be I think it'll help their progression, etc. But I don't see them winning a series this year, frankly.
Sure.
Um, but the Mavs, okay, on the last podcast, I kind of mentioned this. I felt like there was space for a team to slide in terms of the Western Conference, right? Like four teams is tied at the top. I think they're all pretty good, but there was really I was saying there was a chance for a team to slide in. The Mavs right now are 28 and 23. They just bought pretty heavily. They weren't particularly bad before, and it wasn't like Kyrie and Luca were playing a bunch of games together. Now they just got better. I love this trade deadline for the Mavs. Like, I know they gave up some future firsts, and I know NBA nerds are going to be pissed about it, but guess what? When it's 2028, I'll be able to trade my 2036 first round pick. It's like, like bad thought process because at some point it catches up to you. But when you got Luca, you can do stuff like that.
Is there?
I love it. And a lot of optionality. They can go in the next offseason. Very young team. PJ Washington, Gafford, etc. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it.
Yeah, all the young guys fit Luca's timeline because he's so damn young.
Yeah, exactly. So they have the ability to go make these premium trades for like younger guys and
Mhm.
not feel like pressed. Like if Gafford isn't good for the next month, no one's gonna care. Gafford's a part of like a more longer term plan now.
Yeah, no, I fuck with it.
The only thing better that they could have done is also fire Jason Kidd on top of this because he's not a great coach, but whatever.
Sure. I mean, yeah, great player for the Mavs history, but not maybe a the best overall coach. Can be great at both. Max, we were talking. I mean, one of the teams that we talked about, Buddy Hield, traded to the Sixers. Sixers making me think of Joel Embiid, who was likely to be nominated for his second MVP consecutively. Should he have kept this play up? Probably. He will not. And so he will not win his second MVP this year, also as per the rules of the 65 game limit. Can you name all 15 players in NBA history who have received at least two MVPs?
Okay, this is interesting. I think I get some of the recent ones, but it might get difficult at some point. Steph,
Yes.
LeBron,
Yes.
Steve Nash,
Yes, sir.
Shaquille O'Neal,
Yes.
Nikola Jokic.
Yes, sir.
Am I at seven? Am I at six? Seven?
You have one, two, three, four, five.
Wait, okay. Steph. I can't have okay.
Steph. Yep.
Steph,
LeBron.
LeBron,
Steve Nash.
Steve
Shaq.
Nash, Shaq,
Jokic.
Jokic. Dude, I might get one wrong already. I'm blank. Okay, don't give me the answer. I'm blanking on if Giannis won two in a row. Well, so we're gonna go through the other ones first. Larry
Yep.
Bird, Kareem
Yep.
Abdul-Jabbar,
Yep.
um, Bill Russell didn't exist yet, or
Yep.
did
No, 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 no.
Bill Russell? Okay,
Yep.
but eight.
Five. Oh,
What?
sorry, sorry. Bill
I'm
Russell
up.
had five.
Yeah,
You are
I'm
at eight.
update.
Yes, sir.
MJ.
Yep.
It's really annoying because what's popping up in my head is all the guys. It's like in my head, I'm going like, "Oh, don't pick Kobe, you only won one," or like, "Don't pick Charles, he only won." But anyways, um, Giannis,
Yes,
uh,
sir. You have five more.
five more. I don't want to get one wrong because I'm feeling kind
One is understandably tough, but not ungettable, as he is a two-time MVP of the NBA.
of Duncan.
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay.
You have Giannis, Duncan, Bird, Kareem, Bill Russell, MJ, Jokic, Shaq, Steve Nash, LeBron, Steph. You have all the recent guys.
I think Elvin only won it once, but I can't remember that.
Yep, you're right.
Um, I can't remember how many times Moses won it. I feel like Moses won it twice, but I can't. I'm not confident at all. Um,
You have a guy who's won it twice, a guy who's won it three times, a guy who's won it four times, and a guy who's won it three times.
four times?
You have a four-time winner, a two-time winner, and two three-time winners.
Dude, what the hell? Magic?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I was thinking two Rogue.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Don't.
Okay. Uh, I can't remember if Oscar won it, but I want to say Oscar, but I'm chilling on that.
All right.
Uh, give me give me Wilt.
Yep. Four-time MVP.
Yeah, that's the four time. I can't believe I didn't say him yet. He was just in my mind.
Magic is the three-time.
So I have two times and one three time left.
You have two left, a three-time and a two-time.
Three time and a two time. The two time. Uh, give me Moses for the two time.
Moses for the three-time
Okay, for the can I go 100%? Two time chip
MVP, not chip.
or two time MVP.
One chip.
One chip, Dirk.
Not there.
No, you only won one. No,
You only won one.
no. Okay, wait. Oscar.
Nope.
That was my other. That was the one that I was thinking.
Oscar
Okay,
is warm.
let me run through them here really quick. Then off the top of my head, was it Malone? No, one. No, one chip. Not Malone. Not Malone. We're not good. I'm not locking that guess in.
You got Moses.
No, I was thinking Carl. So that's why I'm not locking that
No
one in.
chip.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, didn't Karl Malone win two MVPs? Did I leave him off this list?
I think he only won one. The year he beat Jordan.
Karl Malone, MVPs. 97 and 99. Why isn't he on StatMuse's list? Wow.
Boom. There you go. I got it. I found it. That's my bonus point. Dude, yeah, fuck it. Give me the last guy. Who's the last guy on your list?
Bob Pettit.
Oh, I definitely should have known that one. That's a sell. That's actually that's bad. That's bad. That's worse. I thought that's low key harder than Moses. Or easier than Moses in my eyes.
Dude, yeah.
He's he was the only other good player in the 60s. Like,
Moses.
okay, so what I do? Basically, we thought it was 15, and it was 16. Was that the
I think that's what happened.
and
Dang.
then
We
now I
found some
got two
stat me
wrong?
two wrong. That's pretty good. 18 for 16. 16 for 18.
We're actually better than StatMuse. You're right though. We actually just StatMuse though, always a little questionable stats, but whatever.
Spin hoops is because we care,
Yeah. We're statistically correct and we cite our sources. No, we don't actually, not at all.
but we
Uh,
do our best.
yeah. Um, honestly, that's all I got for today.
Is there?
Hope you guys enjoyed the trade deadline pod. We'll
Yeah.
start.
I think we'll talk to you guys about some all-star business next week.
Hmm,
Yeah. We'll see. As a
that'll be
little
exciting.
dessert. And until then, we'll be chilling, perhaps moving and spitting a little hoops as we do. Peace.